Zbirka Litteræ Slovenica, ki izhaja pri Društvu slovenskih pisateljev, beleži skoraj 60-letno tradicijo. Trenutno je mednarodni dom 156 avtorjev in avtoric, 162 prevajalk in prevajalcev in kar 76 knjig iz Slovenije v 10 tujih jezikih. Zbirka je nastala leta 1963 na pobudo Društva slovenskih pisateljev, Slovenskega centra PEN in Društva slovenskih književnih prevajalcev, najprej kot revija Le Livre Sloven, ki je tujo javnost obveščala o vrhuncih slovenske kulture in predvsem literature. Leta 1991 pa je revija Le Livre Sloven doživela korenito tako vizualno kot vsebinsko prenovo in postala knjižna zbirka Litteræ Slovenica z imenom, ki ga nosi še danes. Uredniški koncept, ki ga od leta 2012 oblikujeva urednici Tanja Petrič in Tina Kozin, je usmerjen predvsem v predstavitve vrhuncev slovenske književnosti, tako starejše kot novejše, predvsem pa tudi v predstavitve uveljavljenih sodobnih slovenskih avtorjev in avtoric vseh generacij, predstavlja pa tudi vse literarne žanre, od proze, poezije do dramatike in esejistike, tako v tujejezičnih izdajah, kot tudi v dvo- in večjezičnih izdajah. Vsako knjigo pospremi tudi poglobljena spremna študija, ki jo napiše strokovnjak s področja literarne vede ali literarne kritike, in ki delo in avtorja oziroma avtorico umesti v širši literarno-zgodovinski kontekst in seveda tudi v okvir evropske literature. Zelo pomembno pa je seveda tukaj prevajalsko delo. Zbirka sodeluje z uveljavljenimi prevajalci slovenskega leposlovja v tuje jezike, ki ponesejo slovensko besedo, slovensko literaturo preko meja tudi na druge celine. Od leta 2015, ko je zbirko podprla tudi Evropska komisija, pa imamo projekt Litteræ Slovenica, majhna književnost v velikih jezikih, v okviru katerega je nastal izjemno pomemben, predvsem tudi arhivsko in informativno pomemben portal z informacijami ne le o samih izdajah, o samih knjigah iz zbirke, temveč tudi o slovenskih avtorjih in avtoricah in o prevajalkah in prevajalcih v angleškem jeziku, ki je namenjen seveda tuji javnosti, tujejezični javnosti. 2017 je Evropska komisija ponovno prepoznala vrednost in poglobljenost zbirke in podprla nadaljnjih 6 naslovov. In zato vas zdaj vabim na eno takšno prevajalsko popotovanje, na katerem se nam bodo predstavili prevajalci in prevajalke in sodelavci zadnjih nekaj naslovov iz zbirke. Poslušali bomo vtise in tudi kakšne prevajalske orehe, s katerimi so se spopadali angleška prevajalka Kristina Rardon, ki je prevajala roman Nataše Kramberger Nebesa v Rubidah. Javlja se nam naravnost iz Amerike, iz Združenih držav. Predstavil se nam bo tudi Blaž Božič, ki je kot nemški lektor sodeloval pri nastajanju nemškega prevoda zbirke Rumeno gori grm Forsythie Veronike Dintinjana. Nekaj bo o svojem delu povedal tudi Roli Grav, ki je prevajal Kroniko pozabljanja Sebastiana Pregla v angleščino. In Pozdravljamo med nami tudi Danielo Kocmut, nemško prevajalko, ki je prevajala pesniško zbirko Jane Potrle Srdić To noč bodo hrošči prelezli iz zemlje. Skratka, vabim vas in nas na ta pisan omnibus slovenske književnosti v tujih jezikih. Začeli bomo nekje v Avstriji in končali v Združenih državah, kot sem že napovedala, in vam torej v naslednjih nekaj minutah želim srečno pot.
Hi, I'm Christina Reardon, and I'm the English language translator of Nataša Kramberger's beautiful novel, Blackberry Heaven. This story is full of complexities. They're there on the plot level. We have two characters from different backgrounds, different ages who intersect in Amsterdam. There's Jana from Slovenia, who's a young student who is in Amsterdam. She's babysitting. Her visa has expired. She has to deal with local government authorities as well as a power outage in the city while she's out on the town with a young child. And then there's Beppe, an Italian grandfather who's waiting for his granddaughter at the airport when the outage happens. Their paths intersect in really interesting plot-based and poetic and metaphorical ways. And then there's the other piece of the novel, which is the poetry, the metaphor, the resonance, and the humor. This novel had a lot of translation challenges because of the language that was used. It was inventive, creative, metaphorical, and contained wordplay and puns in different moments. So the novel wasn't laugh out loud funny, but it did have these moments that were critical, in my opinion, to both the style and the flow of the novel, but also the development of the characters and the English language reader's understanding of plot. So these things manifested in particular moments. I'm thinking of a couple just off the top of my head. There's a scene early in the novel that takes place in a classroom in the former Yugoslavia. There are rhyming songs that children are repeating and riffing off of and sort of integrating into their speech and language, the way they talk to each other and their teachers. When I had to translate those little rhymes, I ended up trying to preserve the rhyme in English, which meant that the meaning was sometimes a half step off from what was going on in Slovenian, but the rhyme was so important to the playful nature and the fun of those scenes. And the characters even sometimes called out the perfect rhyme or the full rhyme inherent in certain lines of dialogue that characters were using. So that was a challenge, to try to come up with a rhyme that was at once authentic to the intent of the original, but also fun, childlike for the English readers. They could really get the sense of the text. So that's just one example. In other examples, I'm thinking of a particularly humorous and playful scene that takes place in front of a church in Amsterdam when the character Jana is walking along. She runs into a roller skater, and there's a whole bunch of chess dialogue that takes place, talking about different chess pieces. But the pieces are called different things in English and in Slovenian. What they're called in English, the exact pieces that were being referenced are not going to create the same pun if I name them in English the way that they were meant to be named. So I actually ended up calling certain chess pieces different chess pieces in English. I wasn't doing a one-to-one translation because the humor would have been lost in that moment. And so there's certain moments where stylistically, to preserve a sense of laughter or at least pun and lightheartedness, I tried to come up with something that was just really close to the original, but a half step away. And I think as a translator, that's always the challenge when there is humor or lightheartedness in a text. How do I convey that without losing the intention and the meaning? And it's my hope that I did that without losing the intention of the author or the exact meaning, but by still also creating a version of things in English that are funny and full of just beautiful language and metaphors for the reader to digest in the same way that there were in the Slovenian original. A couple other just sort of small things, well, not small things actually, really big things that I think were particularly challenging. The style of this novel is what I think makes it so remarkable, and it was incredibly difficult to translate that style in certain instances into English. So what I mean by style is there are many long sentences. Of course, this is a feature of a lot of Slovenian literature, and in English, in the post-Hemingway era, the sort of shorter sentence is usually, upheld as a virtue. So I didn't cut the sentences down from the original. I did keep them just as long because I think that's stylistically important, but it did require me to do some creative maneuvering with grammar and with commas and with pauses in other ways in the text to make sure that the English reader could catch the rhythm of the piece. So much of the rhythm comes across in Slovenian in grammar and in case endings, in gender and in singular, dual, and plural. In the novel in Slovenian, it's very clear who's speaking and who is acting based on these grammatical cases. And of course, in English, you have to find a way to call that out without making it seem redundant or awkward. And so I think in my editing phases, that was the biggest challenge, was making sure that the sentences that were quite long remained lyrical and not confusing in English. And so if I had to keep going, of course, like any translator, I could name a challenge or two on every single page that I had to sit and think about deeply. But preserving a sense of humor and lightheartedness in the moments where that was critical, and also the long, stylistically poetic sentences, I think were the biggest challenge for me in the English translation. I'd like to share with you now just a small portion of the novel. I'm choosing a section from part 1, a part where Jana is in Amsterdam. The power outage has just occurred. She is stuck in the middle of the city with the small child she is babysitting. And I chose this scene for 2 reasons. One, because it shows Jana in action in a really dramatic moment, and it allows you to see the way that the character's mind is working, seamlessly moving from past to present, back and forth. And I think it shows just an eye into the consciousness of the character. And 2, I chose this scene because I think the writing is beautiful. In this particular scene, the author is bringing us from past to present, as I just mentioned, from one sentence to the next. She's shifting times, she's shifting places, she's shifting registers in many ways, and it comes across lyrically, poetically. And I think the ability of the author to describe the city of Amsterdam in the dark in particular is quite moving. He pointed to the sky. Jana, Jana, the moon, man. When she first came to his house on Overtoom Street to babysit, he had been 4 months younger and even tinier. She entered and he greeted her by name, Tag, Jana, as his mother had been telling him to do all day. He stood still in the opposite room while she was at the front door. He was watching for a long time, first from behind the door frame, then from inside the closet, then from behind the couch, then he took 3 uncertain steps toward her, and when she did not move, he ran to her in a childlike gallop, took her hand and pulled it down, and then pressed a wet kiss on her cheek. Jana! When his mother left, he cried until she put the Lion King on. He sat in front of the television, barefoot and with tear-stained cheeks, a red nose, and the pursed lips that made him look like a little girl. He pointed at the lion cub on the screen and never cried again. He soon noticed that they did not speak the same language. Sometimes he explained things in Dutch, sometimes in Chinese, sometimes in an African dialect, while she replied in English or German or Slovenian, and he would repeat after her, and his vocabulary grew. He taught her to understand and repeat his words, the phrases he thought were extremely important. We say eat, we say drink, we say Lion King. Man, Jana, man. In an Amsterdam without power, the silence was unbearable and the echoes hollow. The water under the bridge rippled in such a way that the city seemed even more unstable, as if the bridges were wavering in the water in all that darkness and all that emptiness. She was overcome by a wave of dizziness, and it seemed to her that she was about to be washed away by a flood. It would carry her from the red light district to the tram and sweep away her left shoe. All of a sudden, no one was left on the streets. There were no steps, no bikes, no cars. No, cars were not allowed in the center of Amsterdam. She looked at the child who was now impatiently pulling at her hand, and before her chest tightened, what now, what now? She finally realized that man meant moon. When the lights and neon signs shone in the city, only brown fog was left in the sky, a smear, filthiness, smog. If you looked up after a clear day, you could sometimes see how the air was on the brink of filling with stars, but how the city lights diluted them, and you never really knew whether it would rain tomorrow or if it would be sunny again. The child danced along the bridge and laughed at her, and she was afraid he would fall in all this giddiness, and the last thing she needed was him breaking something. She went after him and scooped him up, and as they leaned against the fence along the path, they looked up at the pitch, pitch, pitch black sky, covered in black, black clouds, under which there was a timid, timid, white, white, silver, silver, glowing moon. It was just shy of a full moon, and if there were no clouds, the city would have taken on a silver glimmer. She stood on the bridge over the Oudejege-Voorburgwal Canal with absolutely no idea as to how they were going to get home, and as the child watched the moon, he closed his eyes, and his mouth relaxed into a smile. The hum under the bridge swelled up into the sky, as if the city's very foundation were swaying. Bikes were tied up along the canal with 2 or 3 locks, 2 or 3 chains. The street lights were mute, and candles flickered in the windows. Thank you.
Torej, lepo pozdravljeni v predstavitvenem videu nemškega prevoda pesniške zbirke Rumeno gori grm Forsythie pesnice Veronike Dintinjana, ki je izšlo v letošnjem letu v okviru zbirke Litteræ Slovenikaj. Takole izgleda. Nemški prevod je pripravila prevajalka Ann-Katrin Bolton, ki pa žal ni mogla opraviti predstavitve prevoda, tako da bom jaz tukaj vskočil. Moja vloga je bila pa pri tem projektu to, da sem opravil končni pregled nemških prevodov glede na slovenske izvirnike, tako da sem bil tudi udeležen v prevajalskem procesu na nek način. Same knjige mislim, da ni treba posebej predstavljati, ker je seveda splošno dobro poznana v slovenskem literarnem prostoru. Izšla je leta 2008 pri knjižni zbirki Prišleki. Mene spremlja tudi že skoraj takrat, 10 let, in mi je zelo blizu seveda, zato sem tudi tako vesel, da je tudi šel nemški prevod te zbirke. Je pa tako, da jaz bi se glede to smo zelo omejeni s časom v tem videu, bi knjigo predstavljal predvsem tako, da bi prebral pač te nemške prevode, par njih. Ena beseda, 2 mogoče o tem prevajanju, recimo, meni je bilo predvsem to nek način izziv, ki mi je v bistvu ta proces pregledovanja prevodov, tega natančnega branja, ki ga pač terja tudi prevajanje, mi je nekako spremenil način tudi, kako berem zdaj recimo slovenske, če preberem še enkrat slovenske pesmi. Seveda z njih sem pristopil kot bralec v prvi vrsti, tako kot berem drugo poezijo. Seveda ko pa pogledaš prevode, je pa pač tvoje branje zelo drugačno od tega, kot je neko običajno branje. In tukaj se mi zdi, mogoče čisto glede jezika te zbirke, to mogoče ni značilno samo te zbirke, ampak sploh nekih poetik, ki niso toliko obrnjeni na sam jezik, ampak so nekako navzven vračajo in kjer prevladuje nek pač zelo izčiščen, v bistvu jasen izraz. Ker se pol vseeno pri rasnem procesu, dostikrat smo pol tudi z avtorico, ko smo brali skupaj, prišla do tega, da mogoče pa ni temu čisto vedno, da so tukaj v bistvu pač neki sloji, ki se odpirajo pol šele v bistvu pri nekem natančnem branju, neki sloji teksta. In to je svojevrsten problem tudi seveda potem pri prevajanju, ki je težavno. Tako da meni se je to, se mi zdi, da to splošno nisem jaz prevajal, sem samo pregledoval, ampak se mi je zdelo, da ni bilo toliko lahko, oziroma je bil kar nek izziv, je težavno v nekih ozirih. In tudi ne samo mogoče ne samo v teh čisto tehničnih stvareh, recimo, ki se tiče razlik med nemščino in slovenščino, sploh pri tej, mogoče pri tej poetiki, ki je zelo nekako, ki je zelo pretehtano, no, kjer se pač pojavijo neki mikrofokusi, fokusi v verzu, kjer so pač neki elementi, kako so razporejeni. Nemščina, kot vemo, ima čisto jezikovno, ima pač nekaj stvari drugače izražene, vzem tudi pač v besednem redu. In tudi onkraj tega, no, se mi zdi, da je zares ni bil lahek projekt to. Tako da sem vesel, da je šlo. In po mojem mnenju tudi dobro prevedeno. Tako, začel bom s pesmijo Levi na pročelju katedrale v nemščini. Bom naslove v nemščini, pa tekste v nemščini, tako da bojo potem podnapisi tudi. Die Löwen an der Fassade der Kathedrale. Drittklassiger Marmor, angefressen von Regen, Kälte und Hitze. Sie ihnen Wellen kämmen. Für einen Augenblick nehmen sie Form an und zerfallen gleich wieder zu Schaum. Sie lächeln. Vielleicht wissen sie, dass sie schwinden. Herculaneum, 2000 Jahre später. Noch eine Ausgrabung, noch eine Liebesgeschichte, vielleicht. In den Räumen der Schule für Gladiatoren ist, den Zähnen und den Schmuck nach zu urteilen, eine Frau neben einem Söldner liegen geblieben. Das Skelett verrät die Verletzungen eines Gladiators. Aus den biologischen Spuren lässt sich nicht erkennen, was sie ein paar Minuten vor der unausweichlichen Erstickung taten. Die Gegenwart ist die einzige Grabbeigabe. Nicht mit feurigem Atem kommt der Tod über uns. Vielleicht werde ich dir die Luft rauben, wenn wir anstatt auf die Asche auf den Morgen warten. Was du wirklich liebst, wird bleiben. 5 silberne Löffel, außerordentlich gut erhalten, in einen Lederbeutel unter der Asche, neben einem Männerleichnam mittleren Alters. Aus der Position der Überreste und der Verzierung der Löffel versuche ich, seine Geschichte zu erraten. Geizhals, Gefühlsmensch, Dieb. Als die Asche zu fallen begann und die Luft nach Schwefel und Kohle roch, schöpfte er da voll aus der Gegenwart. Ob Absicht oder nicht, statt seiner selbst rettete er 5 silberne Löffel. Was du wirklich liebst, wird bleiben. Concerto de Aranjuez. Es war Sommer, gehüllt in einen winterlichen Mantel aus Regen. Es war ein Herbst reifer Feigen und blauer Dürre. Weiße Steine schützen schlafende Brunnen. Schwarz und süß verstecken Brombeeren sich in den Nischen trockenen Laubes, bedeckt mit einer dünnen Schicht aus Staub und Salz. Nackte Hänge waren bewachsen mit silbernem Salbei. Ölbäume hielten sich an die Westseite und Felsen unter den ständigen Druck der Bohrer an die Ostseite, an die leblose, weiße Mondoberfläche, scharfkantig der Sonne ausgesetzt. In der Mittagshitze fließt die Zeit nur noch in den Adern des Schatten, gesättigt von der Bewegungslosigkeit der Lebewesen und der Luft, der Erde und der Sonne. Nichts kann sich ändern, sagten die Sinne, doch ich glaubte ihnen nicht. Mit dem Gefühl, mich an die Gegenwart zu erinnern, wenn sie noch andauert, dass ich wie Ton bin, wie Papier, das Medium der Veränderung, Bote und Botschaft zugleich, meine DNA, Gedächtniszellen im Gehirn, Verbindungen zwischen ihnen. Eine Botschaft, die sich selbst zerstört, wenn man sie bis zum Ende hört. Nattern auf heißen Steinen sind nicht gefährlich, gefährlich ist nur die Angst, die unvorsichtige Hass des Rückzugs und zu viel Sonne. Wenn ich nicht zurückkehre, werden Ölbäume und Gras, Brombeeren, Salbei und Schlangen die gleichen sein, unverändert. Wenn ich zurückkehre, werden sie auch die gleichen sein, nur ich nicht. Und zwischen uns werden Erinnerungen von Geschmäckern und Gerüchen sein, nie in Worte gefasst. Jedes erfolgreiche Erkennen wird Grund sein für ein neues Glück. Das hat sich nicht geändert. Wer ist es das, hat sich nicht geändert. In seinem Wesen ist es das gleiche geblieben, weil ich dieses Laub erkenne, weil ich den starken Duft der Kräuter erkenne, weil das Meer noch salzig ist und der Stein weiß und rau. Nicht dasselbe, das Gleiche. Und wenn nicht, ist wenigstens die Spur der Veränderungen gleich, der Vermerk, dass die Zeit auch hier war, dass sie zwischen uns angehalten und eine Lücke in ihrer Aufzeichnung hinterlassen hat. Spatz durch ein Krankenhausfenster. Ich sah den Tod, wie er sich zu dem Mann aufs Bett setzte und die Pantoffeln ablegte. Der Blutdruck des Mannes fiel ab, sein Gesicht wurde weiß, als der Tod sich hinlegte. Seine Augen voller Angst. Ich flog hinaus. Da ich keinen Anteil an seinem Leben gehabt habe, ist es nur richtig, dass ich auch keinen Anteil an seinem Tod habe. Nach einer halben Stunde kehrte ich zurück, um die Brotkrümel aufzupicken, die vom Mittagessen übrig geblieben waren. Übung im automatischen Atmen. Ich schreibe wieder, mittags, nachts, morgens, übe automatisches Schreiben, das Aneinanderreihen von Gedanken und Metaphern, ohne Verantwortung, ohne Ambition der Dauerhaftigkeit. Gedichte ohne Gehängte, ohne verstorbene Verwandte, ohne die duftende Haut Liebender, Blumen und Sträucher, beraubt und leer. Ein misslungener Wiederbelebungsversuch. Papier bricht nicht unter den Händen wie Rippen oder Brustbein. Bücher beginnen nach dem Tod nicht zu stinken. Sie sammeln nur Staub und Flecken von Kaffee und Tee. Niemand ist unersetzlich. Nachts träume ich. Morgens offenbart sich mir die Bedeutung. Der Trick liegt nicht darin, etwas Außergewöhnliches zu sein. Es ist einfacher, für jemanden unersetzlich zu sein. Es muss nicht die Toskana sein, es muss nicht Sommer sein, es muss nicht einmal dauern. Das ist das Schwierigste. Deshalb übe ich einen Atemzug nach dem anderen. Ja, to je to. Hvala za pozornost, hvala za ogled.
Živijo, moje ime je Roli Grau, jaz sem prevajalec iz slovenščine v angleščino in lani za zbirko Litteræ Slovenike sem prevedel roman Sebastiana Preglja s naslovom Kronika pozabljanja oziroma A Chronicle of Forgetting v angleščini. V romanu spoznamo človeka, ki živi v domu za starejše, ima 80 let in razmišljuje o svoji preteklosti, pa tudi o svojem življenju v domu za starejše. V delu, torej v odlomku, ki ga bom zdaj prebral, on govori o trikih, ki jih uporabljamo prav vsi, da bi preživeli v življenju. Pa tisti triki imajo poseben pomen za starejši ljudi, posebno tisti, ki živijo v domu. Over the course of my life, I've learned a fair number of tricks myself. In fact, life is composed of an endless number of tricks, and for the most part, it's all about acting. Ever since I was little, I was taught what is right and what is wrong. I was taught by my parents, taught by my kindergarten teachers, taught by my school teachers. Wherever I went and wherever I was, even if I was there only a short time, I was taught. Taught what to do and when and how to do it, and what not to do and when and how not to do it. Taught that what was in between was most important and that others would judge me and evaluate me mostly on this. I was taught who these others were and what I could expect from them. Even today, in fact, I can't shake the feeling that people want to teach me things, although everyone knows you can't teach an old dog new tricks. It was easier when the rules were simple and few. Boys don't cry, girls are well behaved and always careful not to dirty their clothes. Nevertheless, even later I managed quite well, and over the years became a first-rate actor. I performed on many different stages, often at the same time. Year after year, decade after decade. I lived in large flats and drove expensive cars. I wore custom-made suits and handmade shoes. I ate in expensive restaurants and traveled to exotic destinations. Year after year, decade after decade. Then I tired myself out. I'd had enough of all that bullshit. All I wanted was peace and quiet. 80 years is plenty, I told myself. From now on, there's not much I need. So little, in fact, that I could probably do without the tricks and the masks. If it weren't for other people. It's because of other people that I can't dispense with all the tricks. It's because of other people that I can't remove all the masks. When you are candid and direct, it confuses people, both here and outside. The truth is, people don't like candor and directness, although they say they do. They too are merely acting. They too are using tricks. When we old folks start being candid and direct, people say we've become impertinent and inconsiderate because we're no longer able to restrain ourselves and be a little patient. They say we're thinking only of ourselves. But in here, we don't have to give a damn anymore. We've restrained ourselves long enough. We've been willing to be patient long enough. We've behaved long enough the way people expected us to behave, and now we don't have to anymore. But candor is a matter of choice. It's easy to be smart and strong when you're healthy and feel good, but when you feel like you're getting weak and your health is no longer reliable, you're soon willing to submit. It's as clear as day. So long as we're willing to be a little patient, people think well of us. So long as we're willing to act a little and use our old tricks, we can count on kindness and helpfulness. We can count on others doing some acting too. We can count on things being a little easier for ourselves. But when a person decides once and for all to stop playing the game, it's over. Sharp-tongued, impertinent old folks deserve nothing more than what's absolutely necessary. And that's what we're afraid of. Nobody knows exactly what absolutely necessary means. Is it absolutely necessary that they bring you hot food and the doctor examines you every 6 months? Is it absolutely necessary that you're given medicine when you're ill? Is it absolutely necessary that they feed you and wipe your bum when you can't get out of bed? And is it absolutely necessary that they hook you up to an IV and put an adult nappy on you and change it 3 times a day? Is it absolutely necessary that they turn you from your left side to your right and then back again so you don't get bed sores? Or is it only necessary that you lie there and rest, since sores aren't part of their job? Nobody knows, but everyone is afraid. So we keep on acting, so we don't dispense with our tricks. Personally, nothing really bad has happened so far to me, and from what I see and from what I know, nothing bad has happened to anybody else either. But there are rumors and stories, lots of rumors and terrible stories. I've heard that Nurse Angela is a second angel of death. If somebody in her care is too cranky or demanding, she increases their dosage and waits for the weakest organ to fail. Then she calls the doctor. If the person isn't receiving any special drugs, she injects air into an artery or floods their lungs with water. She lets them lie in bed until morning and then calls the doctor. And so on and so forth. If I had heard anything like this when I was still outside, I would have dismissed it as slander. I'd have said it couldn't be true. Things like that can't happen. Now that I'm inside, it's different. Inside, you have to be careful all the same, because nothing is 100% certain. So I watch what I do. I watch where I look, what I say, and who I say it to. Now, when it's completely dark and I'm lying in bed, I have to admit that I, too, am afraid. Scary monsters are lurking under my bed, too, and crouching beneath the table and hanging in the wardrobe, hidden among my clothes. I don't notice them during the day. During the day, I more or less forget about them, and the monsters go into hiding. But when it gets dark, they come slinking out of every corner. I'm not afraid of the end or death. I'm not afraid of the final moment. I'm afraid of being helpless before that moment comes. I'm afraid that at the end, I'll be the same as I was at the beginning, dependent on others. Only now it will be the employees in the nursing home who are accustomed to this and won't view it as anything special. While the cleaning lady is sweeping beneath the bed or emptying the waste paper basket, I'll still be alive. While the caretaker is changing a light bulb or a gasket, I'll still be alive. While the orderly is walking past my door, I'll still be alive. I'll still be alive, but the employees won't be talking to me. They'll go quietly about their business, convinced that what I need in my final hours is peace and quiet. I'm afraid that I'll want to shout as loud as I can, "I am alive," but won't be able to. Maybe the nurses will be chatting when they come to change my IV bag, or maybe the orderly will see the caretaker outside my door and exchange a few words with him. Maybe I'll hear people talking in the flat next door, but not one of these words will be addressed to me. Except when the nurse takes the head count at night, she might say something to me. Most likely she'll press the tips of her forefinger and middle finger to a vein and mumble, "You're alive. You're still alive." And I won't know if she thinks that this is a good thing or a bad thing. She'll probably be thinking that it's good for me, but bad for the people outside who are waiting for a space to open. Hvala.
Dober dan, živijo, lep pozdrav iz Graca. Jaz sem Daniela Kocmut, književna prevajalka za nemščino. In to je moje prvo online branje oziroma korona branje in na začetku bi rada izpostavila citat literarne hiše v Gracu, ki se glasi približno takole. Leto 2020 sem si predstavljal nekoliko drugače. Benjamin Kvadara je to začetek aprila rekel in se mi zdi, da to, kar si vsi mislimo, da je tako. In sicer sem vesela, da vam lahko predstavim danes prevod pesniške zbirke Jane Potrle Srdič To noč bodo hrošči prilezli iz zemlje. Prevod je izšel pred 2 letoma. V nemškem prevodu se glasi naslov Diese Nacht kommen Käfer aus der Erde gekrochen. In par besed o vsebini. To je zelo razgibana, zelo dinamična, zelo raznolika in pestra zbirka z 7 cikli, ki so vsak enota zase, poseben svet in tudi potem še vsaka pesem posebej, ker vsebuje razno različne teme, ki se nas tičejo, naš sodobni svet, naše življenje v tem modernem tehnološkem, tehničnem svetu. In to je prav posebej zanimivo pri branju. To je mene prevzelo in me tudi zanimalo. Namreč ta svet nasprotja med naravo in kulturo, kje so stičišča, kjer se razlikuje, kje so meje, ki so zelo zabrisane. Tak je en širok življenjski spekter različnih tem, bi rekla, vsebuje ta zbirka opazovanja mestnega sodobnega življenja in pa tudi naš odnos človeški do tehnologije, do narave, do živali. Veliko živali se pojavi. Citati, tudi navedki, to so bili mogoče malce orehi tu pa tam, da je bilo treba rešerširati, odkot zdaj ta citat, kateri film, katera oziroma katera rock skupina, kako, o čem poje, s čim se ukvarja, na primer filmi, glasba, sodobna umetnost, umetniki, ki so navedeni, tudi kar nekaj filozofije. Tako da to so bile rešerše, raziskave potrebne, ampak tudi pogovor z avtorico je pri tem seveda zelo pomagal. Sem bila zelo vesela, da sem lahko spoznala avtorico v Ljubljani, se z njo pomenila in pa tudi poslala potem cel moj katalog vprašanj na koncu prevoda, ko potem že nekaj časa malo stoji prevod, da si odpočije, preden zadiham na novo v novem jeziku. Kar mi je bilo še zelo všeč, je, da avtorica, pač pesnica oziroma pesniški glas uporablja nenavadne nove besedne zveze, takšne, ki jih je potem tudi v nemščini pretvorimo na nek način, da zvenijo malce nenavadno tudi, ampak to zavestno. Zelo izdelan je jezik in v tem, da se poigrava s frazeologizmi in idiomi, je pa tudi to zelo osvežujoče. In te teme se mi tudi zdijo malce nenavadne v pesniških zbirkah sodobnih slovenskih, da se prav ukvarjajo pesmi od, ne vem, kemije, biologije, mikrobiologije, tudi izrazi iz informatike, različni citati. To se mi zdi, je nekaj posebnega za delo te avtorice, pesnice Jane Potrle Srdić. In zato je ta zbirka bila tudi zelo fajn za prevajati, zelo pestro delo, ki mi je bilo všeč. In sem vesela, da sem to lahko prenesla v nemščino. Zdaj pa preberem še 2 pesmi, da se lahko sliši, kako to zveni v nemščini. Ich, du, sie. Wir sitzen am Meer, betrachten die Lichter der Schiffe und Autos, die sich am Horizont bewegen. Als wir 2 Stunden lang schweigen, denke ich, dass dies alles sei, was da ist. Und all unser Geflüstere, wie lieb wir uns hätten, einer totalen Einsamkeit entspringt. Die Bandmitglieder von Repetitor schlagen auf Schlagzeuge und Bässe, schreien: Ich brauche niemanden, der mir sagt, dass er mich liebt. Ich lege meine Dunkelheit an, auf jeden Tanker ein wenig. Wie in einem Computerspiel, ich ordne das Gewicht an. Die Abendsonne leckt über unsere Gesichter wie über blinde, soeben geworfene Hunde. Der Wind aus dem Hafen wäscht uns. Diese Nacht kommen Käfer aus der Erde gekrochen. Nachts wächst das Myzelnetz und zwischen Neuronen werden Verknüpfungen hergestellt. Der Wald atmet durch den fossilen Stamm in die Rinde eines lebendigen Baums und wir sind alle in die alltäglichsten Geheimnisse verstrickt. Äderchen und Pickel, auslaufende Stunden. Jemand kniet an einem Grab, so dass die Feuchtigkeit durch den synthetischen Stoff seiner Hose bis in seine kalten Knie kriecht und ein Hund zuckt im Schlaf, als er erschnuppert, was seit Jahrtausenden in die DNA eingeschrieben ist, die nur eine geglücktere Form darstellt als 010110100. Und wenn wir uns selten ein liebevolles Verhältnis zur Technologie erlauben, ist nun auch sie ein Teil des Signals, blinkt im Dunkel des Zimmers mit ihren Lichtern auf Elektrogeräten. Allgegenwärtig ist sie schattenhaft wie die Nachbarin, die jeden Morgen vom Postkasten heraufkommt, Rechnungen austrägt und den Kreis an Informationen schließt. Ihr Gesicht strahlt, wie es nur wenigen vergönnt ist, sehr alten, sehr jungen. Diese Nacht werden Käfer, die sich seit 17 Jahren unterirdisch von Baumsäften ernährten, gleichzeitig an die Oberfläche kriechen und sich in etwas anderes verwandeln. Hvala lepa. Dankeschön.